Hello everyone, welcome to Rezzed. I hope you've been having an amazing day. I'm Bertie from Eurogamer, and it's my great pleasure today to introduce this session. They've got a bit of a history with Rezzed. Last year they were Game Jam entrants, this year they're on the stage. And because of the theme of their game, I'd like to introduce them in the style of Rocky. Rocky or anyone, any of Sylvester Stallone's characters. Before I do that, we will have time for some questions. There's a microphone in the middle here. You need to lean into it to be heard. Please queue up there if you have a question. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Andrew Milky Smith.
Thank you very much, Sly. Hello, everyone. Just hands up, who actually recognises Tango Fiesta from last year, just so I kind of know roughly what's going on. Oh, we got some synth. So we were at the Jam last year. We're going to talk a little bit about the journey that we've taken in the last 9 months, although that's a really, horrible word, journey. And yeah, hopefully show you some good stuff. There's actually, who here lived in the 80s as well? Hands up. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a little bit of back and forth at some point. There's a competition happening. And without further ado, I'm just going to get on with it, basically. I think that's probably a good idea. So, Tango Fiesta, from Jam to Steam. It's a 4-play arcade roguelike. This is going to carry on. People are going to have to laugh a bit more. The puns are going to be terrible, but you have to bear with me. There we go. The team, myself, Andrew, you've met me. This is Andrew on this end. He's the coder.
Hello.
That's Brock with the microphone.
Hi.
And that's Gavin with the keytar.
Hello.
We came together last year for the Rezzed Jam, and we were very, very honoured to have to set a game in the 80s. It was basically like the perfect brief for us. And about 25% of the audience will get all the references that I've built this entire speech around. So this should go well. So the 1980s, they mean a lot to us. When we got the sort of the name out of the hat for the Jam, we basically high-fived because, we're like that, a bit sad. But, so they mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I think that they've had a legacy that sort of extend beyond people who've lived through it or were born in that decade. So for some people, it's fashion, hair, shoes, that kind of thing, pretty iconic. Music, maybe. I mean, you could do a whole talk about MTV and its influences on music. Arcade games. Well, video games were arcade games back then. Some people had home computers, that was great, but most video gaming, the cutting edge, that was in the arcade. And that's something that means a lot to us. Specifically this one, as you'll see later, hopefully. But movies are probably the biggest thing for us. We all grew up loving this kind of stuff. They're iconic. And I don't think there's any other decade that's had so many sort of defining movies in so many genres. It's just a fantastic thing. Mostly this kind of thing, if I'm completely honest. Generally just action heroes, though. It was sort of the defining era for action heroes and what they were and what they could do, what they could be. I mean, they started off as Arnie, sort of this crazy kind of godlike figure who no one could aspire to be, and then by the time the 80s were up, you had people like John McClane, who were just an everyday guy kind of, saving the day. So there's a whole range of inspirations there. But mostly this guy. And for anyone not familiar with the 80s, that is not Freddie Mercury, okay? It's a very easy mistake to make. This guy here is not Freddie Mercury. So our story began at Rezzed last year. And we say last year, but it was only 9 months ago, which is crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. And the team, we feel a little bit like the Turtles. I mean, they don't necessarily, because I wrote this whole talk. They don't know what's coming up. But, we're rad. We're not very green, and we're not turtles, but we do like pizza, and we're all good at individual things. So it's just like the Turtles. This whole, again, talk is going to be...
I want to be Raphael.
You want to be Raphael?
Yes.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I'm Leonardo, just in case you were wondering. Okay, good. So the Jam. I believe this is where I alt-tab and it all goes horribly wrong. So some of you were here last year, maybe? How many of you were here? Okay, so I'm going to bore the pants off 12 people, that's fine. Where have I gone? I went too far. There we go. Okay, so this was the presentation that we did after the Jam last year. with no sound. So I'll try and lip sync.
The 80s, and that
We
was
really like.
one thing.
Oh no, there we
to
go. It's fine.
The four guys on our team, who are myself, Andrew, Code.
Sort of
Andrew.
covered this bit, didn't we?
We've got wonderful sound man Gavin down the front there, and Ewan Let's Brock. Give him a wave. There we go. So yes, the 80s meant one thing to us.
You don't have to laugh because the other crowd laughed, so it's fine.
It's kind of a running theme, right?
That's you. That was you. It's definitely a running theme.
But this is the most important one to us. Boom, Predator. So, more specifically what the 80s meant to us and our game is this.
I love this bit.
Right. So we really wanted to play that. And we're banking that hopefully you guys want to play it as well. So to us, the 80s is a little about action heroes. Maybe they're not so relevant anymore, but one time they had their glory days. It's also about big burly men with massive guns shooting lots of plants and maybe some bad guys. So along those lines, we went with kind of a classic top-down shooter idea. It's very 80s in itself, hopefully. And rather than scoring points, you get a body count. Again, very 80s. And in addition to that, we count how many decades of relevance your actions have generated for you. So, without further ado...
So it won't surprise anyone that we didn't win, I don't think. It was 8 hours. It was stressful. It was hard. I'll go into that in a bit. But that just gives you some context, because at the end we're going to let you see and play, hopefully, quite a lot of what we've been doing in the last bit. So this was the first image that came up for Highlander. I was going to compare the Jam to the Highlander, because there can be only one. But it's not that one, obviously. That's just weird. It's that one, with the French guy pretending to be Scottish, with the Scottish guy who can't do a Scottish accent. It's really weird. Anyway, it was a lot like Highlander. It was also a little bit like our inspiration. There were, teams of people who claimed to be really good at their jobs, jamming, and essentially the evil, invisible alien judges picked us off one by one, and then someone won. These are really forced, but you stay with me, it's fine. We thought that the Jam would be child's play. There we go, some groans, excellent. This is what I vibe off of. We thought we were a sure thing to win. Hey. But we were not to be Top Gun that day.
Gavin's done now. You can go. Thank you.
He's off. Thank you for that. It validates bringing that guitar. So what did we do? We didn't win, but we decided, because the audience was so lovely and the host was so lovely and it just went really well, especially working together, we thought we'd take it a bit further. I guess you could say I asked them to stand by me. We felt a little bit like the Ghostbusters, and this one's not quite so forced. We're just four guys doing what we enjoy. That was it, and success we kind of felt was just going to happen. There were no ghosts that we know of, but yeah, it was good fun, and we didn't end up as messy as them. So that's basically what we started with. We ended out of the Jam. The first thing that we added was flames, so that you could destroy the scenery with napalm and things like that. Then we added blood, because, why not? And power-ups, you can see shining. We added a sort of, film reference kind of difficulty select screen. Why not? We added vehicle levels that didn't work. And then they did. So we added boats, and we added jeeps, and we added helicopters and 80s sunsets. I'm pretty sure that's over Miami. That's a photo. That's not in-game art. We added more movies, so we expanded it beyond just Predator. We added Tron inspired levels. We added Mad Max. we added buildings. So we created an editor that we could create these prefabs, and it would just place them down. We then added a system which would build it out of tiles. Nice zoom in on. Ewan's going to love this. Don't you just? He's an amazing artist, but he also drew that.
I'm not enjoying myself right now.
No. He did draw this? You drew this?
I drew it. I'm sorry. It was me.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. And then we actually built kind of like a procedural system. So the levels would be populated with scenery, trees, barrels, stuff. So every time you play, it's kind of a different experience. Doing this under our own steam was risky business. I enjoy this. I don't think anyone else does. It's fine. So we decided we should pitch this. We'd been working under our own steam, no money. It was all in our spare time. Let's pitch this. We think it's good enough. We pitched it to these guys and more, but I couldn't find their logos. And anyone who's ever pitched knows it's exactly like they live. Exactly like they live. All right? You can see something no one else can, and you have to basically convince someone who's really not interested. We didn't have to wrestle for 20 minutes and knee each other in the groin or anything like that. But if you don't get the reference, just go and watch that movie. It's amazing. It's all a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? This pitching business. I'm getting claps now. This is great.
Yeah,
so
it's pity.
It's pity claps. Oh, okay, fine. I'm just going to carry on anyway.
Hi, Mum. Thanks for coming, Mum. Cheers, thank you.
Woo! We got no's, didn't we? We got turned down. Was it game over? I don't know. It was a bit of a raw deal, whatever it was. But we felt like Ghostbusters still. We were sort of in jail, as it were. And were we fighting a lost cause? I don't know. I felt like we still had a lot of potential in this project. Genuinely, it's a bit silly, but we genuinely believed in this. Gavin should have been in hospital last year instead of doing the jam. Genuinely would have died if he'd left it a couple more days. It's crazy. Ewan's got a wife and 2 kids and a mortgage, and he was like, yeah, no, I'll just take the weekend off and, draw some pictures. I don't know what me and Andrew brought to it, but, their dedication is quite something. And, we've got to validate it somehow. And it's that bit in Indiana Jones. We've got this thing, this need, we've got this golden idol that if we just grab it, then we'll be okay. But we know something's going to happen. We're going to set off this chain of events. Are we ready for it? I don't know. But we weighed it up. We had a little bag of sand, and we thought, sod it. Grabbed the idol, ran. And then this is what we came up with. Hopefully, it's so unprofessional, isn't it? So this is just a very quick sort of glimpse into...
Okay, hopefully, yep. So we've all dropped in safe.
What we built to send to the people that we pitched to who'd already said no.
That we've got buildings in.
We've got buildings in.
These graphics are incredible.
They're amazing graphics. Look at all the colours. I love it.
It looks like game development Dan's stuck, but that's a bug. These things are full of bugs. Hey, it's fine.
So
what you can see is
that was Dan Pearce stuck in
with the player.
Yeah, Dan Pearce of Tall
from,
Trees fame.
And
10-second
Ninja. See a
Ninja.
lot of the props and updated sort of background graphics that he supplied as well.
Basically, we took everything that we'd already done, tried to make it a little bit better, and then made it multiplayer. So the biggest thing that we'd pitched that we hadn't delivered on was this whole idea of it being a multiplayer game. We knew we could do it because we're kind of a bit daft, and then we had to prove it. And I think that's what tipped people over into saying yes. So I did like a 10-minute video. We were all playing multiple games. It worked. It didn't crash. And I think that kind of meant that the publishers understood, hey, they've been talking a good game, and actually they can hopefully deliver it. But would it turn out great, happy, or would it all go ugly? I don't know. It was the last roll of the dice. But this is kind of another piece that we added to the mix. So we took the game as it was and then decided to mock up how we expected it to look. And this is where Ewan's art comes into its own. And we ended up with this. So this is what we want the game to look like. It's changed since then, and I'll show you how. But that's what we added to it. So that and the video and the previous pictures added up. We made the guy smaller as well. That's a very important distinction. I don't know if you noticed. Really important. See that again? Yeah. Really important. It worked. Other people could see what we could see. And we got a yes. It was fantastic. You probably knew that anyway, because at the start it's got Mastertronic's logo on it. I don't know why I bothered with the last 15 minutes, actually, thinking it through. But anyway, this is not the end. That's the beginning. It's real development. This is getting kind of serious. It was a big day. You thought they'd gone away, hadn't you? We did genuinely feel like Tom Hanks' character in that movie. It's just we're just guys making a game about the 80s, and we're getting paid to do it, and like there's like a contract. You know, that's real, and we're getting paid every month, and we can kind of do what we want. It seems bonkers, especially to our 12-year-old selves, I think, particularly. They're just throwing a fit right now, like that kid in the N64 Christmas video. It's a bit like the Goonies, actually, now that you mention it. And this is where I'm going to, hopefully, who knows what a truffle shuffle is? All right. Okay, here we go. Right.
You don't want to volunteer for
You
this.
do want to volunteer for this bit. Okay, so genuinely, like, you know, it's a bunch of us kind of new at this, not really sure of what we're doing, going on a massive adventure, but there's like big adult problems in the way. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. There's treasure at the end, but, you know, there are traps and mafia families and all kinds of things getting in the way. That's just game development. It's not just the Goonies. So anyway, that's the truffle shuffle right there. Now, just to put this in context, I'm going to ask people to come up and do a truffle shuffle. You don't have to do it with your shirt off, because it is live on telly or the internet. But if we've got some prizes, is that enough to entice like 2 or 3 people up to do it? No? Yes? We got 1. All we need is some competition. Come on. There's 1. We got 2. 2's enough. 2's enough. Come on, you 2 guys, come up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, round of applause for these guys.
You're going to get...
Do this.
Thank you, yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So there are four player characters we've got in the game at the show. And you might have noticed we've all got these dog tags. I kind of gave the guys a dog tag each. It's personalised. We've got 1 for each of the characters as well. And they're limited edition, Rezzed 2014, whatever. Like, I'm acting like I'm some big shot. This is ridiculous. But I'm going to get the audience to vote, and you basically get one of the winner gets one of these limited edition, 1 of 4. So we'll go with you first. Do your best truffle shuffle. That's impressive. That is very good. Dedication. You see the tents, like the arms? Are you ready? Okay, go for it. Whoa! All right. Now, audience, you're going to have to vote with clapping. Was it truffle shuffle A?
Whoa, we've got some fans for this guy.
That's impressive.
That was good.
That sounded good to me. Is it truffle shuffle B? A shock decision. It's all right, we've got cake. But you get one of these. Now you get to pick. Who have we got? John Strong, who isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger, lawyers, he's not. We've got Macmillan, who is the guy that rhymes with Dylan. We've got Miller, who is Mad Max, he's not Mad Max. And we've got Bionic Cop, I can't think where he comes from. Which one would you like? You don't mind. Let's go for John Strong. He's like the classic.
What about the 4th gen console? Is that...
There you are.
They're
Enjoy.
all right.
Thank you very much. A round of applause. You've been brilliant. I was really worried no one was going to do that, I'll be completely honest. Okay. Brilliant. Whatever happens, that happened. It's like, this is amazing. Okay, back to the puns. The forced puns. It was a lot like Aliens in that there's 4 of us running around fighting bugs. Starship Troopers was 90s, all right? I had to go with what I've got. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Gavin also does weddings as well, so talk to us after.
He genuinely does. Would it be like Terminator? Would what we create come back to kill us? What we've promised these publishers? Would it travel through time and destroy us? I don't know, because we haven't made it yet. It's a bit like Back to the Future 2 as well, because we had to kind of... Oh, no, that wasn't... Was that Back to the Future? Do it. They love it. Sweet. It's not the most iconic soundtrack. It's fine. We have to basically, we'd made all of these features in the game and pitched it, and then we had to start again and go over stuff that we'd already done. We have to revisit it and make sure we don't screw anything up. So it's just like that, honest. As an aside, next year, apparently that's what we're all wearing. So I can't wait, frankly. I cannot wait. I do not know what Biff is doing there, but it's awesome. We want the game to be a bit of a legend. See, again, it's a bit of an obscure movie, but it's fine. We're creating a labyrinth of interconnecting features. It's just like Labyrinth, except with less of his crotch. Was that... What's going... Okay, it's a bit off topic. Anyway, so this is what we've been working to. We added some player HUD. We've got objective arrows. There's all kinds of bits. There's enemies left, etc., ammo counts. So this was something that was important for us to start afresh with. So this is what we're aiming to make. And that's where I put a picture in, but we're going to do better. We're going to actually play it. We're going to have people come up and play it while we take questions. It's going to be amazing. And don't worry, I'm nearly at the end. Huh. Apparently I am at the end. Except we want it to be a never-ending story, don't we? Woo! Oh, it's a tear to the eye. I can't do this presentation without that. And that's the guys. Please do follow us on Twitter. They're way funnier than I am. And come and check us out on the show floor. So the next bit is we're going to have a little play, hopefully, of the game, just to show you it running. Where are we? There we go. So, except all the controllers have gone off. Am I going to have to restart? No?
Yes, you're going to have
Okay, we'll restart. Ignore what's going on over there. Where did you buy your guitar? Give him the mic.
It was a sound on the sound advert.
Ah.
It's not very
Was that in a
interesting.
newspaper or a magazine?
Magazine.
Wow. What are magazines? I don't...
I read it every month.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. All right. See? Seamless. Here we go. Right, so... That's cool. Right, you take these two over there.
Okay.
Brock, get your ass over here. Oh, I should have called this Mars, shouldn't we? And right, so hang on, we're gonna jump in. We would love for people to ask questions. Do you know what, Bertie? You have a play. While they're playing, please do ask questions.
Yeah, if you come to the middle, this middle microphone here,
Microphone.
and fire away.
They might not have questions. They might all just be brain dead from my ridiculous puns. I don't know. I'll let you watch it for a bit because it puts it in context. This is where it crashes, like first time. All right, here we go. So I'll sort of talk over it a little bit, and then you might get some questions, or you might not. I hate mouse pointers. Right. So it's 4-player cooperative. You can see what's going on. It's basically a 2-stick shooter, but a little bit more in depth. So there are quite a lot of systems behind the players' actions. You've got John Strong, player 1. Macmillan is player 4. They're both kind of the Ken and Ryu of the game. They're sort of average guys. Player 2 is Bionic Cop. He's got a ridiculously overpowered weapon with very little ammo. He's slow and strong. And then you've got Miller, who is player 3, who's quite quick. He's got a really short range but very powerful shotgun. And it's just sort of demonstrating some of the extremes of the systems that we've set up. The stuff that we're showing, we've decided to kind of focus in on what's most easily polished because we don't want it to look bad. But these guys have mass, they have acceleration, they have sort of a stability rating. So some of the heavier guns will knock you back as you shoot them and throw off your aim. But say Bionic Cop, he's essentially a robot, so he wouldn't be knocked back by that. And we've got all these systems that we built in to essentially make quite a deep game for what initially appears to be quite an arcadey shooter. We've got ammo pickups, health pickups, destruction of the environment. The levels are different every time. And there are objectives. There are arrows kind of hiding in the corners of the screen. And as they destroy an objective, it introduces new enemies into the mix. So the enemies are quite diverse as well. We've got the same sort of system that drives the player, drives the enemy sort of setup. So a lot of these guys that you're seeing just sort of spot the player and then move towards them shooting. We've got some that might appear if they're lucky enough to get to the objective. That kind of, really, really tough when they stand there and they just spray bullets for minutes on end. And then depending on how mean I feel or how much time we've got left, I'm going to hit a button that might introduce some familiar bad guys from our source inspiration. Yeah, I think I should. You're out. Oh no, we've got. Okay, there's man down. Oh, Miller's left. Oh no, we got two. So there we go. Anyone spot the invisible enemy?
We need some backing music.
We do need some bass. How about some guitar? Oh, it might be on a different thing. Oh, there we go. They can't play and play at the same time. Yeah. But yeah, if you were here last year or if you've seen any of the coverage we had before, we've still got the bushes that you can shoot. You know, that core inspiration, the thing that started it all. It's still cover. Oh, guys, really? Perfect timing. Thank you. Ah. So, how much time we got left? Do you know? Plenty. That's probably.
I think plenty.
Plenty?
We got 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So we've got 10 minutes. If people want to come up and play, you can have 4 players, have a go at the game. Come on, I'm sure you want to play.
Any questions?
And questions. There you go.
Questions and players, please. Questions.
Surely.
And players,
There's some
please.
questions. You're going to have to go up to the mic in the middle if you want to ask a question. You want to come up and play? Come on, let's get some more. Yeah, there we go. The tide has shifted. So if you've got questions, queue up at that mic and then just fire them at me and I'll sort of blather a bit more. Sly over here will show you where to stand. No questions though. This is cool. Obviously my talk was like thorough. You know, covered all the bases.
Hello, Andrew from Spilt Milk Studios. Please could you tell me when the game's coming out?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. We're aiming for early access release on Steam in about a month and a half, so middle of May. We haven't decided on a price yet, and a lot of that's down to our publisher, the lovely people at Mastertronic. It's probably going to be around $10 or something like that. And yeah, we're hoping to just basically at that point, all of our plans will go to crap, and we'll just do what you guys want us to do with the game. But yeah, about a month and a half away. It will be PC and Mac. Before I'll cut you off there, Bertie. I could tell what you were going to ask. It's going to be PC and Mac initially, Linux obviously, and then if it does well enough, meaning if everyone here buys it, then we might get some interest from some of the the big console people. I think it's a perfect couch game. One of the things that we haven't introduced at the show, because there's no point, is the online co-op. So it's like literally the next thing we're going to add. So you'll be able to drop in and out online as well, and that's something that we absolutely want to do for early access. We have another question.
Yeah, you actually just answered part of my question, which was about online play. Yeah, I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about how you transitioned from doing it part-time into being paid to do it like full-time.
It was very tough. Very tough. Like I said, so, I was sort of joking about their responsibilities and commitment and stuff, but, we all had jobs, so we were trying to find the time to do it. And actually, that was the inspiration, like the jam, the 8 hours. We were like, well, we can probably organise to do another one of those privately, essentially. Like, no one else is invited, this is our jam. And, yeah, we did 2 or 3 of those between the end of the Rezzed Jam last year and Christmas just gone. And that was when we introduced all those features, just sort of a day at a time, in a way. And then as it got to the point where we were pitching it, we were like, okay, this might get quite serious. Like, if we suddenly get a deal, we're all going to have to drop what we've got and just jump on it. And there was, like, in some ways it worked out quite well because Ewan had a lot of work on over Christmas and wouldn't have been able to just jump straight in. So the fact that we got the initial no's and then did that last little push was actually quite well timed, I think, for us all just getting on it at the start as soon as we could. But that said, we just, we've spent 8 weeks on this. Like, when we finished the jam, we threw it all away. Well, when we got the contract, I should say, we just threw it all away, started again, because you just don't build off of jam code. It's not the done thing. And basically, we've been working on this 8 weeks. This will be the 8th weekend, like tomorrow, that we've been working on this full time. And we're like, if only we'd had another month, like, what could we have done? But I don't know, I'm proud of the guys, I'm proud of what we've got. And it's really genuinely lovely to be invited back, Bertie and the crew. Like, it means a lot. Relic were on here a minute ago talking about, like, multi-million selling AAA games, and we're like, oh, hi. we like Arnie and stuff. We made a game about it. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
I have a follow-on question, actually.
Please do.
And that is that since this is now your full-time job, what's your thought process around what you're going to be doing next after this game?
Vague. Vague is the thought process.
Tango Fiesta 2.
Yeah. Basically, the way we've set it up, like there is a story, believe it or not, behind the game. So we've kind of managed to set it up in a way that we can just, as long as there are fun 80s movies to reference, we can keep throwing them in as DLC, expanded content, whatever, whether people want to pay or not, I don't know. Beyond that, we're looking at sort of using the same tech that we've built, not biting off too much. We're aware that this is, as a team, this is our first project. That's a really important thing to bear in mind. You can't just sort of, it's the difficult second album, I suppose, would be a good analogy. But yeah, I mean, so I should say actually the story for the game. Why not? The whole idea is that the 80s, all the movies, 5 minutes, okay. All of the movies that were made in the 80s, all the action movies. Go on, there's loads. There's a queue. There's a queue.
Oh.
Yeah.
I looked there.
They actually all happened to one guy. So Commando, Predator, Rocky, Rambo, They Live. It all actually happened just to one person. So aliens, time travel, whatever. But of course, when he got back to his own time, no one would believe him. So the only people that would believe him were Hollywood executives who essentially screwed him over, made all these movies that we know and love about his exploits, but never giving him any credit. So this is the true story of those movies that we all love. And it kind of means we can just do whatever we want.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do have my most important question really was, how long did it take you to put together that whole long presentation?
How long? Oh, it's crashed. Yay. It's fine. Nice. It does this all the time. I don't know. It's a weird one. It took me... I don't know.
It didn't seem like you got anyone else involved in it anyway. They looked a bit confused.
They're all too busy making the game. Designers, project managers, we don't do anything really. So I had to get on with something. They were quite happy. It's just always Googling silly images again. It's fine. No, I did. The way I do it is I can't work with notes. You might notice I don't really pay much attention. So I just like having something funny that reminds me what I was going to talk about. So it probably took about 3/4 of an hour.
It's cool. I enjoyed it.
Like that. Thank you. I'm glad. Any more questions?
Wait, who are we trying to kill?
No. Fair dues.
I think that's all we've got time for, guys. The people who are here playing can play on as you guys leave. But for now, thank you, Spilt Milk Studios. Thank you, Tango Fiesta. Thank you, the 80s.
Yeah. Got to get one in.